Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, this is another Lord of the Rings review. Today, well, first of all, we're finally freaking doing it, right? I swear to God, I reviewed the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring Extended like 2 freaking months ago. But we're finally at the Two Towers Extended Edition, clocking in at from the normal theatrical version was 179 minutes. And this extended version, which is the first time I'm seeing, clocks in at 235. So, you know, pretty freaking long movie, and I'm also recording this at 11:40 at night, but still, that's beside the point. This is it's kind of crazy that you can go, when I watched the Hobbit trilogy extended, I was like, that's the definitive version of the Hobbit trilogy. And then I watched Lord of the Rings 1, Fellowship of the Ring, and I said, that is the definitive version of that. And, how can you top that, How can you top Fellowship of the Ring extended? It's a freaking great movie, you know what I mean? And Two Towers literally did that. I mean, the movie itself, the original version of Two Towers, is amazing. And I have a few negatives for this review, but overall, so far, just base understanding of, just right after, finishing the film, this is the definitive version of the Two Towers. And if you have not seen the extended, please get on it ASAP. It's freaking totally, it's a lot longer, but it is worth your time. And really, and I mentioned this for my Fellowship review, but when you go to an extended review of something, an extended edition of something, it can either, it can easily fall into the trap of, this is too long, or this is too freaking boring, or there's nothing happening, or, it doesn't add anything. Everything in this film adds to the plot. Arwen has more scenes. Eowyn has more scenes. Boromir's freaking in this movie. The whole, element of, Boromir and his brother Faramir trying to, kind of impress their dad, so to speak, and impress, Gondor itself is very, in the original version, it's not that, pronounced. It's there, and it works, but it's alright. In this film, because of the flashbacks with Boromir, with Faramir, and all of that, and their dad, I think Dathomir, something like that, Denethor, I think, it all feels more, it's got more weight to it, because you see those scenes where, Boromir truly did care about Gondor and his people, and it's kind of now it paints even more of a light for what he did in Fellowship, and it also paints the scene for what's going to happen in Return of the King. So there's scenes like that, and first of all, I don't know what the fudge Aragorn's doing with Arwen. She's alright. Eowyn's totally the hottest one. Mark me on that. Between her and Tauriel. Still, she is a good character in this film, too. She's not just hot. She's a good character for sure. She adds a lot more, more weight to it. Again, there's a few more scenes where she's just talking to him. And I found out, I didn't know this. I'm a huge effing fan of the Middle-earth franchise, and I had no clue that Aragorn was 87 years old. When I heard that, I was like, holy fudge! I almost spit my toast out of my mouth or whatever. I was like, Jesus Christ, he's that freaking old? I didn't know that, so that's kind of cool. But, not only learning more about the world of Middle-earth and building on the character arcs so that it makes sense in this film and the next film, it's just a longer film in general, but again, all of that makes sense. And I can't stress that enough. I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, the extra shot of an action scene is awesome, and the extra talking scene is awesome, and the extra, XYZ scene is awesome, but at the same time, again, they're able to make these longer scenes and a longer film by almost more than a half hour almost, very meaningful and worthwhile. It's not just there to pad time, it's not just there to sell a freaking, a quick buck. Hey, here's the extended version, buy it! It all works, and it all feeds to the overall lore and the overall plot of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I think that's really awesome. And the movie itself is great. My only two negatives are that the wargs, they don't look too crash hot, even in the original. I know it's an older movie, I'm not stupid, but there's a difference between old CGI, which this film has, Gollum, Treebeard, the Ents, and then you have bad CGI, which is the wargs. There's a few shots where the close-up of them looks good. However, a majority of the wargs don't look that effing good. They're kind of, you can tell they're like, either composited in, or there's a green screen element. You can tell because there's like a little white line around them. They really stand out against the, real blue sky, or the real field, or real people with real horses. You get a real friggin' horse next to a CGI warg, it didn't look too good. Again, it's a bit of a nitpick, but I did have to make it out. That was the only CGI in this film that really kind of took me out of it. And then there's an additional scene which is really cool where King Theoden's son is dead. And in the original movie, they just cut to that shot with the white flower coming up in a frame, which is a great shot. But in this film, they're kind of lowering him, you know, into like a, I guess like a casket. You know, they're burying him, and he's got a sword, and it's a sad scene. Théoden's crying. They're all like a funeral, and Éowyn sings this really cool song, and the song's great, but the way it was edited was very strange. Like, she's singing the song, and then boom, it's over. You know what I mean? And then it transitions to the grave sealed up, but it makes like a like a sound that it would make if the tomb was actually closing. You know? So imagine the tomb closing, making the sound of it closing, but then they quick cut, they transition to it already closed. So it's like boom, and there's no, you don't see it close. It's just already there. It's already closed. And it was almost, I kind of laughed. It was kind of comical. It was kind of a weird edit. Again, that's only in the extended version, so this negative doesn't pertain to the original version. However, you know, I don't even have the freaking original version. I sold it to the exchange because I'm like, you know, why would I have that when I have the extended version? But at the same time, it was a bit of a, you know, it's a very somber, sad scene. You know, Éowyn's singing a song. They're mourning. They're crying. And then, you know, it's like this weird-ass edit, you know, and then it goes to the flower scene. But, again, that's another nitpick, too. Other than that, though, this film is a masterpiece. It literally builds on what, you know, made The Fellowship of the Ring so freaking good, especially the extended version. And then it translates that to this film, which, again, Two Towers is a great scene. And, yeah, I will admit, between the Battle of Helm's Deep and all these awesome, badass action moments, you get, you know, like, you know, people throwing spears and beheading orcs and Uruk-hai, and it's raining, and there's, you know, war, and then it cuts to Treebeard going, I am a tree. It's like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Talk quicker, do something quicker, and I get it. Merry, Pippin, Treebeard, all the ends, it all makes sense, and it all collides in the end with Isengard. You know, I'm not stupid, but at the same time, it just feels, you know, how else are they going to do it? Because they're juggling Frodo and Sam and Gollum, you know, and then they got Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. Then they got the Ensign, the Treebeard, you know, so it's kind of all over the place. And it does work. I'm not saying the film is messy. The plot structure works, but the whole, every single time I'd see Treebeard, I kind of would go, ugh, you know what I mean? They're good scenes, and it goes to a good plot toward the end, and it's, you know, a satisfying thing that they do when they go to war, but at the same time, every time, you know, they're, you know, there's a really great action moment, and, you know, the intensity's building up and the hype, it's building, and then boom, Treebeard talks for a freaking hour. You know, he does some tree monologue. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's good, but I don't know. I mean, how else are they gonna freaking do it? I guess you gotta put it in there somewhere. I don't know, but you know, that's not really a negative. It just kind of took me out of the overall hype and the blood rushing. But at the same time, you know, that's not a negative because like I said, I understand where it leads to. But good stuff all around for sure. I think the CGI is good for the most part. The writing is fantastic. Music is effing great. The shots are great. Gollum was kind of in Fellowship of the Ring a little bit. Really just his hands and his eyes and his face. This is where Andy Serkis got in that blue costume and rolled around on the ground like an idiot for a few weeks and did a crazy voice, which you will hear soon in my voice video, which I'm still, you know, working on at the time of, you know, recording this. Give me some slack, I still have college, but, you know, finals suck. But overall, this is a very good film, and it is better than the Two Towers original. It builds on it in every way. It gives added context to the first and the third, which I'm going to be watching Return of the King extended probably tomorrow, or, you know, the next day whenever this goes live. And I can't wait, man. This is a great freaking movie, and this is the, like I said, it seems like a no doy, but it's the extended version, and it is the definitive version of the Two Towers, much like Fellowship of the Ring. Unexpected Journey, Desolation of Smaug, Battle of the Five Armies. So far, all of these 5 films have really impressed me in terms of their extended version. It not only is longer, but again, all of these films, Hobbit Trilogy and these 2 Lord of the Rings films, they add more context to the plot. More action scenes, more funny moments, you know what I mean? Just stuff, little scenes. You know, a scene that can last for 2 minutes, but it adds so much more weight and lore and, you know, just seeing, like, Sam and Frodo at the beginning of the film make a joke about bread, or, you know, Sam's like, oh, this is a really good rope, and then the rope just falls down, and they're like, oh, you know. It adds levity to the, you know, to the film, which is funny, because now that I think about the original Two Towers, it's like, wow, that was a freaking mess, you know what I mean, editing-wise. Like, they would switch between, like, happy and sad shots, like, and I didn't know it any different. You know, I'm excited to see the extended version, but now that I have, it's definitely the definitive version for sure. It's fantastic in every way. Again, the Warg CGI is a bit weird, and I do think that that whole like weird burial crash cut edit thing was a bit strange with the noise. But other than that, I'm going to give Lord of the Rings The Two Towers Extended Edition an A. Again, those things are little nitpicks, so not necessarily huge negatives. They didn't draw me out of the film. But again, you know, they are there, so I had to mention them. Anyway, tell me in the comments down below what you think about The Lord of the Rings The Two Towers Extended. What is your favorite Lord of the Rings Hobbit extended film out of all 6? Tell me down below. I cannot wait to watch and review The Return of the King Extended and finally complete the Middle-earth saga. I know it's been a while, and I'm sorry. I've had a butt ton of content to make. Of course, we're going to Disney. I have college, so I do apologize, but I'm finally glad I got to it because it was definitely worth the wait. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.